Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man shot dead in Halfway Tree. A man was shot and killed in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. Reporters understand that the man was gunned down in the vicinity of the Pavilion Mall. DPP to appeal 4-year prison sentence on the new Firearms Act. Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn on Monday announced that her office will be appealing a 4-year and 6-month sentence handed down to a man who pleaded guilty to illegal possession of firearm. Dennis Mondell, the first person charged under the new Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act, received the sentence for unauthorized possession of firearm and unauthorized possession of ammunition. At the time of his arrest, Mondell was wanted for almost 2 years by the police. Upon further consultation and review of the FBRRA and the specific facts of this case, Rex V. Dennis Mondell, the Office of Director of Public Prosecution ODPP, has formed the consideration view that the interest of justice may be best served if a review and appeal of the sentence of 4 years and 3 months imprisonment is pursued in the Court of Appeal, the release said. According to the newly implemented Act, Section 5 outlined that no one should be in possession of a prohibited weapon and that anyone who contravenes that order commits a felony and should be sentenced to life imprisonment or not less than 15 years. The ODPP vowed to take the appropriate administrative steps to file the relevant appeal to the order of the Court of Appeal to pronounce a more appropriate sentence after scrutinizing the provisions of the FBRRA. Curfew imposed in Steertown, St. Anne. A curfew has been imposed in Steertown, St. Anne Division. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Monday, February 13, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, February 15. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows. North along Steertown Main Road, about 1,180 meters from the Greenwich Acre Bridge to the Steertown Community Center at Chalky Hill Main Road. East along Chalky Hill Main Road, about 1,000 meters from Steertown Main Road to the North-South Highway overhead bridge at the southern boundary. South along an imaginary line, about 790 meters from North-South Highway overhead bridge at Chalky Hill Main Road to the western boundary. West along an imaginary line, about 400 meters from the southern boundary to the Greenwich Acre Bridge at Steertown Main Road. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. 3 RD offices closed due to Monday's protest by staff. 3 locations of the Registrar General's Department, RGD, were closed to the public on Monday due to protests by staff. The workers are upset about the government's reconstruction compensation system, and some staged a sit-out on Monday. A meeting was held on Sunday afternoon between the workers and their union, the Jamaica Civil Service Association. Meantime, Chief Executive Officer of the RGD, Charlton McFarlane, told reporters that the sit-out significantly impacted operations. He said the St. Anne's Bay, Port Antonio and Savannah Namar offices were not open. The RGD CEO said its busiest office in downtown Kingston, along with its main office, were also almost those affected significantly. He said several weddings had to be cancelled due to the sit-out. However, Mr. McFarlane said Monday's sit-out did not impact projects being undertaken by the department.
Based on the disruption, a significant number of staff calling in sick, all offices were impacted. Some were impacted more than some. So the Mandeville office and the Mapen office, they started off at probably about 60% of capacity as early as, I would say, about 8:30 in the morning. But by about 10 o'clock, I received reports that those two offices had their full complement of staff. So there would have been minimal disruption in those offices. However, the Port Antonio office, the St. Anne's Bay office, the Savlamar office were closed. The reports I got were that those offices did not open. The same thing with head office. Between 65 and 67 staff members, they were about turned up to work at the head office. And the head office has about just under 200 staff members stationed there. So you can say at 65, 70, we're talking about a little over 25% of the staff complement for the head office. So, that we had challenges there. And then the downtown office, Kingston office, which, in terms of volume of customers, is our busiest office. That office was also negatively affected. Only about 6 persons were present for work. So while services were delivered, it was a challenge to deliver the same service with the same level of efficiency as it would normally do. Certain projects that we have at the RGD is that we are relatively on track with those projects. So, for example, the NIDS project, we are relatively on track with that. So today's activity, from where I sit, would not have resulted in any major disruption towards the project work activities. That being said, though, it is imperative that we return to normal business in as short a time as possible, hopefully by tomorrow.
Performance pay a must for teachers. Education continues to be hotly debated in our society, and rightly so. More than ever, there is great concern over the ability of our education system to provide our young people with the knowledge, skills, and abilities that will enable them to function effectively in a society that is becoming more complex and competitive. None can deny the pivotal role that education plays in national development and the need for a properly designed and managed system that is capable of training our children for the varied needs of the Jamaican society. The challenges are many, from a flawed method of compensating our teachers to insufficient levels of corporate support for education, an increasingly undisciplined and lawless society, and a number of dysfunctional and self-defeating attitudes and behaviors. Anyone who has operated a business understands that the greatest productivity is achieved when rewards are based on performance. I have always been firm in my support for a performance-based program for teachers as opposed to guaranteed paid. Performance-based pay would give administrators the ability to reward teachers they consider to be performing well, while at the same time discourage poor performance. Currently, public school teachers are paid on a scale that is typically based upon years of service and educational background, which is unfair to those teachers who are in fact working harder and getting better results than others. The teaching profession is one of the only and few professions in which there is little monetary reward for excellence, and we will never attract outstanding individuals to the profession until we provide them with some sort of monetary reward for success. We must also encourage the government and corporate companies to set up partnerships with schools and invest more in education, especially at the early childhood level, which it is most needed. As businessman Michael Leachin says, we who are not fortunate have a responsibility to inspire, motivate, and give back. Giving, too, makes great business sense, as when you create wealth for a the cause will give back to you. We all need to recognize that schools are the agents of change and community regeneration, and so our principal goal, if we want to succeed as a nation, must be educate, educate, educate. Children do not have equal opportunities in life until they have equal opportunities in education. It is not enough to build good schools. We must also create an environment in which children can build cultural awareness, language skills, and so on. Government, in turn, needs to provide an environment for more job creation so that graduating students are not left out in the cold or made to feel that they have no choice but to resort to undesired alternatives such as drugs and crime, which are seriously affecting the country's ability to succeed. Without crime and violence, we will have much greater investment from foreigners, which will bring new money into Jamaica and eliminate our need to continue borrowing. The end result will be greater wealth creation and therefore more jobs and much better living standards for all. We must encourage parents and communities in general to have a higher commitment to education, to volunteer where necessary, and to pay more attention to their children who need a happy home, life in order to achieve their best in school. Discipline, love, and values are all essential ingredients for raising productive children, and their ingredients are conspicuously missing in the inner city, communities, and schools. Each child needs proper mentoring outside the schools as well in order to be successful. In order to create better inner city education, the parents and community need to become more involved. We are all in agreement that there are many challenges facing education and our society in general. I have merely touched on a few of these challenges. Those of us who are about our young people and about our own future, both as individuals and as a society, must continue to highlight and debate these issues, not in a contentious manner that creates division and bitterness, but in a frank and constructive manner where consensus is reached and solutions found and implemented. If we believe that this is too idealistic a goal, then we accept defeat before we even start. A society that is concerned about its own future must find the will and the way to make education its number one priority. This is a challenge of our generation, a challenge for you, me, all of us. Do we have the will to meet this challenge, or do we walk away in utter defeat and indifference? The problems in education were largely created by our generation. The challenge, therefore, falls on us to correct them. It's not a matter of choice, it's a matter of dire necessity. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell